A growing trend in filmmaking is major Hollywood professionals moving their production houses to smaller, quieter, more rural communities. In the past, if you wanted to work in the film or entertainment industry, you had to be located on the West Coast, as that where all the studios were located. But that has all changed. Robert Kurtzman, one of the founding members of KMBFX Group, cut ties with his brainchild and moved his efforts to the small railroad town of Crestline, Ohio. Living legend Tom Savini chose Monessen, Pennsylvania, a struggling industrial town, as headquarters for his school/studio. The ability of large effects houses to operate outside the Hollywood system opens doors for many people looking to work in the industry that may not have been able to make the trip to California. But does that lead to other issues? Does working so far away from where the action is hurt a studio's ability to get work? With Robert Kurtzman and Tom Savini now running highly successful operations in their hometowns, could this lead to a complete retooling of how films are made? This growing trend of rural studios could change the face of how films are made. Lower costs, and in some states fantastic tax incentives, make this a very attractive proposition for many. After making several trips to Robert's studio in the farming railroad community of Crestline, Ohio, and seeing what he's accomplished by converting an old bowling alley in his hometown into a thriving studio, it's apparent that something special is happening. Same thing is happening with Tom Savini setting up shop in the small industrial town of Monessen, Pennsylvania. The research proves this story timely, as it's a transition that is taking place in real time. This story is happening as I'm writing this report. I know firsthand the excitement and curiosity generated by the fact that a major Hollywood studio can literally be located in your backyard. What I didn't know was the financial impact having such a studio nearby could have. Hollywood media is full of stories about the huge financial hit the city has taken by losing so many productions to out-of-state and in some cases out-of-country filming. Recent projections show that roughly 4,500 jobs have been lost in recent years due to companies moving out of the area. The good news is that these jobs often move to smaller rural areas with high unemployment. They also estimate that an additional 7,900 jobs have been lost that should have been created that are instead being filled elsewhere. I hope to show the positive side of this story by showing how these jobs are helping those in small-town America and analyze how it is affecting the movie-making process. I will look at the story from the points of view of the artists, Kurtzman and Savini, and what led them to making the choices they've made. I will also look at it from the point of view of the communities and the residents in which these Hollywood icons have set up their shops. I will be looking at this story from the points of view of both Mr. Kurtzman and Mr. Savini, and try to find out what led them to making the choices they made. I will also look at it from the point of view of the community and the residents in which these Hollywood icons have set up their shops. I will solidly research all perspectives of this report and only use trusted and vetted sources for all of my information. I will not offer any opinion or conjecture. I will report only the facts as given to me by my interview subjects and information that is discovered during my research. I will use only credited and vetted sources for all information. My first interview will be with Robert Kurtzman, the K in KMBFX until he left to form Precinct 13 Entertainment. He has worked on many high-profile films and projects. He can lend first-hand experience into moving his establishment to the small town of Crestline, Ohio. Tom Savini will be my second interview, who now runs a very successful studio and school in the small town of Monessen, Pennsylvania. In research for this story, I found no articles at all about how all this talent has been moving to small-town America. I discovered a lot of articles about all the jobs leaving the Hollywood scene, but nothing on how it's affected the small towns into which they moved. Film buffs and film students would be the people most interested in this article, as it has to do with where they would be able to find work or possibly go see where films are being made. This opens the door to many who might want a career in the industry, but were unable or unwilling to make the move. It also benefits the small towns as they reap the tax benefits, as well as the money spent by those going to school or working in the area. Research indicates that many are making the move, and there appears to be no end in sight.